sitting in our apartment, which is a studio.
And we're drinking our
inside
coffee.
our apartment.
Oh no, we're gonna sell out. Never gonna never sell out. Never, never. Mom, okay, I'll get a job, but I won't really like it. I'll ride my bike there.
Will I book that commercial? Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know if I will ever make my way out of this little shoebox that I live in. But as long as I have love. Just kidding, I can't even have time for love because I am stuck writing my next song.
What would Stephen Sondheim think of my song?
Will I book that commercial?
Please, if you like our video or our incredible rendition and our tribute to Jonathan Larson, like, comment, and subscribe to us. You may also find us on Instagram and Twitter at
Love Sam and Jacob.
But most importantly, tell your aunties about Sam and Jacob. So we just saw Tick Tick Boom.
Like a time bomb.
Check. And this is kind of the first musical that Jonathan Larson wrote before Rent. And, you know, it's a little bit like autobiographical. Woe is me, I'm an artist and I can't make it in New York, in big, scary, hard New York. And it's actually really good.
I loved it.
On paper, it sounds like it would be kind of like, oh God, like I don't want to hear a bunch of like, wah, 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 it's hard to be an artist. But
it really kind of like captured it without it being like in your face.
Yeah.
It was really just like, this is for anyone who has a dream, for anyone who loves musical theater and just understands what it's really like to be pursuing a career in musical theater. This is it. This hits the money on the head. It captures why we do what we do, why we love what we do. Really good job. And the opening number, 3090, was amazing.
Phenomenal.
That's
probably the best number.
Probably the best number.
It's so good.
I also really, I think this is the first time that I like actually could follow along with the musical. There's just a reason why it doesn't really get done too often. It's not something that I feel like works very well on stage. I think it sounds very beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think conceptually it's just really hard to make it work. So I think in this format of having him have these figures in his life, but also having like this chorus of actors who are like acting out his workshop was very beneficial. So you have like the actors who are the people in the story, and then you have the actors who are telling the story.
Yeah,
that
was
worked
good
for me. He really didn't get to run with the fruits of his labor. Like he was a success, but posthumously.
Yeah, and another thing he did is like, he kind of brought musical theater to a more like groundling level. Like, you know, up until that point, like shows were usually about like upper class people, or they were about like history. They weren't quite accessible to this sort of mainstream audience. And I think Rent was like, oh, like this is me, I'm this artist person, I'm this, you know, with seeing those characters in a Broadway format was really new.
Hey, boy genius.
The fuse has been lit.
And I do think it paved the way for things like Dear Evan Hansen. What are those other new age
Next to Normal
ones?
is definitely an offspring
100%.
of Rent. Even Spring Awakening, which is a little more like historical and stuff, but it
comes
has,
from a book.
Has those same kind of like
play.
Feelings and, you know, angsty people. Movie-wise, Andrew Garfield was really phenomenal.
Amazing. Vanessa Hudgens, was fine, but
The guy who
Robin
was Michael.
Oh
that
my
guy
gosh,
was really good.
he was
Really
amazing.
good. Their number, his and Andrew Garfield's number about like the apartment, that was one of my other favorite moments.
And Joshua Henry, who was in Scottsboro Boys, amazing. Amazing.
Scottsboro Boys is one of the best musicals.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say, like, I think Vanessa Hudgens did fine. She did what she was supposed to do. She just didn't, or like, there was I would have wanted someone, there was something else that I wanted there that.
Oh, Joshua Henry was also in that Carousel revival.
Yes, amazing, amazing. And MJ Rodriguez from Pose, excellent. I mean, literally everyone
cast.
was in
one
this.
of the most
Every
amazing
Broadway
things was
Laura Benanti.
Joel Grey was in it. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Philippa Sue was in the diner scene. Danny Burstein was the dad of of Jonathan Larson.
Oh my gosh! And then the girl who was in the original Into the Woods, the original Little Red Riding Hood. She was in that office scene when he goes to like get the office.
That was a really good
so
scene
funny.
when they're trying. He's kind of toying with the idea of selling out and being like a jingle writer for this advertising agency.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes that I've ever
love
seen.
too the use of Sondheim as like this kind of grandmaster that he's trying to like appease, and that because
it's funny though because like. He was talking about, he's like, and then I took this workshop where all these writers would come, and I'm like, okay, I was like, wait a minute, is that Steven Schwartz?
Yeah.
And then I was like, is that guy back there supposed to be Sondheim? Like, it was completely blurred out in the dark.
And I was like,
and I was like, that's probably supposed to be Sondheim. It's like, it could be a silhouette of someone who's not even Stephen Sondheim, and you know it's Stephen Sondheim.
Yeah, he's
like,
so iconic. And the guy's mannerism, the actor who captured him was spot on.
Like, I love that Lin utilized everyone who's like, and it was really, I actually heard Vanessa Hudgens say this, like, it's a love letter to musical theater. And I know that phrase gets thrown around over and over again, but this, I think, was the most prime example of something that really encapsulated that. Like, you have to love musical theater to have understood the jokes or the dialogue. Like when Michael was explaining just like the experience of being in New York and having to wake up at 5 a.m. to maybe be seen and sing like 6 bars if he's lucky.
Yeah.
Like that's
I feel like I've heard
very
that spiel a million
real
times from people who go to New York. Like,
yeah, even in LA sometimes. It's like you wake up and you go and you have to wait in line just to be seen.
And it's a cattle call.
It's a cattle call. It's like a very real experience.
It is.
And
it wears on people, and you see that juxtaposition between Jonathan and him, and kind of like why Jonathan is born to do this, and why he will never do anything else.
Right.
Is really cool because that relates to me. Like, I feel like that same person who's like, I could never sell out and be at an advertising agency. Like,
but I don't even think it's like selling out in his case. Like, I think in some people's cases it's selling out.
Right.
But like, I think like in the case of Susan was about to have her career, and like she was like about to have her moment, and then she gets injured, which is also very real. And she's like, look, like, I can't do what I'm meant to do right now. So right now I have to put a placeholder on it, and I have to go and be a teacher. And while I'm teaching and doing this, maybe my body can heal itself back to a place where I can then go and pursue this again. Careers.
I had a coach tell me once that if you ever think, maybe I could do something else, you just should.
Yeah.
Because that means that's your call. Like, your calling is not this thing. Like, your calling has to be 100% unwavering.
Yeah.
Or you're never going to make it, because it's just so hard. And
it totally
is. And this shows that in such a really cool way. It's a great movie.
Like, it gives you so many nuggets of like, if you really know this art form, you will just be able to be like, connect the dots.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Lin does such a good job of giving you nuggets there. I really and I'm surprised of how I was like, oh, he's like, let's see this direction. And it really was brilliant. I mean, Lin just can do
he
it
does
all.
amazing work.
He does amazing
no matter
work.
what he's doing, if he's on stage, if he's writing the music or directing, he just always puts himself into it. And
he has a vision and he sees the big picture and he knows how to connect the dots.
yeah,
I loved it.
me too.
And I hope you watch it and love it
I
too.
hope so.
Now we're going to say goodbye. We might do some hand motions. Goodbye, 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 but not forever.
We'll come back in 365 days, and that's a year.
And maybe in 22 minutes, you will see another
Something will
review.
happen.
Or go watch one of our reactions. We have them waiting for you.